Okay, so just for planning this repair here at the front left rear hanger on the chassis here. It's just a bit hard to tell before I can get a better look in there, so I think what I'm going to do is just drill a couple of holes here, which I can then join to the outside there, cut across here, just to get this section of metal out, have a better look. See the inner flange of this C channel, because these are two sandwich C's, as we mentioned before. To get to about here starts getting pretty bad. It's almost non-existent behind here, missing pretty much any meat around that rivet and then out. So I think I'm going to have to basically get a piece of flat bar to put in there to replace that section, and then just replace this section here. I think possibly once I've done that, welded it all in, grinded it all back, blended it in, I then might make it just a fish plate to go on the outside. If I can join up into these couple of rivets, that might be the way to do that, is to get these rivets out. That's for that hanger, and there's another couple of rivets here. I could actually pull that off if I wanted, just to give me full access. I think there's no real other way to do this, to be honest. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do, and then I'll just make those a bolted connection after that. So I thought I would, mention before I start cutting, I haven't drawn it properly yet. This is just hand sort of marked just while I was dreaming about it the other day. I thought to cut on the center line, of this member. Theoretically, there's pretty minimal stress there, as it sort of gets loaded from both ends. And then for these, where it joins in, obviously you don't want to be welding directly across a chassis like this. Longitudinally is right, but crossways is not. And then generally speaking, if you can go 1.5 times, if you were to go back like say if this is a full section, 1.5 times the width of the section. So I'll probably pick a line here which matches up with 1.5 times the width of this whole section, and that'll set my angle there. So theoretically I'd have that angle there, all through the center here, and then that angle there. Just a bit of an in-between video here. It's been a little while since I've done any work on the 40. I've just this afternoon cleaned up these cuts in here. Sort of not prepped the area, but sort of cleaned it up enough that I can start taking some measurements. And I've started making that lower flange, as you can see here. So it's just a bit of flat bar. Sort of bent it, heated up and bent it in the vise just to get the shape. I just traced it out in cardboard. Here it is actually. So I just traced it out in sort of cardboard the way that it went. And then yeah, just bent it up to that, fit it up against the chassis. I've drilled a couple of holes and about to cut the rest of it out and see how it sits in there. So that's that piece shaped up. I've left a bit extra here. So my plans, once I build this, the actual web, I'll be able to weld it to this, and then I'll be able to cut the excess off afterwards. That's why I've left that there, but pretty happy with how that's come out. So to make the web, I first 3D scanned the area that I'd cut out with the flange plate in there. I scanned that with my iPhone. It's got the facial recognition scanner on the front, so there's some apps you can get to be able to do 3D scanning and export it as a object file. After that, I basically screwed around for a little while in here. I made up what the repair piece itself would look like. Done it in 2 sections just to allow, because I've got a 3D printer that's only a certain size bed, so just to fit that. And then the next part, I suppose, as I said, was to 3D print it a couple of times, get it right, sort of make some minor adjustments here and there. You can see there, that's a photo of it in the actual in position, and how it was going to look. And then finally, I sent the drawing file, once I was happy with it, to a friend of mine who could cut it out on a CNC plasma cutter out of plate. Okay, spin on the grinder, getting it to sort of match up a bit. Fairly happy with how that's looking at the moment. Just yeah, trying to probably tack it onto that flange. Have a bit of a play around, adjust a few more things, and then get on the welder. Rightio. So I've just done a few tacks on this in place, put some tacks on the other side. Just doing a bit of a recheck, everything looking good. I think it's time to lay down some hot ones. I've V-prepped underneath there, so get a little bit of heat into it. As a bit of preheat for its best chance, and then I think it's time to do some welds. Alrighty, that's that done. For anyone that's wondering, I welded it. Obviously did those tacks. I had a tack 3 and then 3 on the back in slightly different spots, and then I basically did maybe a third here, a third there, and a third here, third there. I think joined it all up. So yeah, just sort of made my way across to try and reduce the stress on it. In between, every now and then I was just giving it a little bit of heat with the torch there. A couple of kind of shitty joints between welds, but anyway, I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think it looks alright. Once that was welded up, I trimmed the excess off. Been on the grinder just to clean it up a bit. There's a few spots here to sort of blend in. Good how you're going, but the rest of it's pretty good, to be honest. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, basically, yeah, I'll end up welding all this in. These internals I'm just going to leave, too hard to get to. There's enough bolts holding everything in there. So I've actually welded that in. This was a bit of a doozy. It actually burnt back and burnt the wire to the contact tip, so I had to have a second go at that. But these other ones I'm pretty happy with. I'll see if we can have a look through there. Oh, get it to focus maybe. That's not too bad, probably not quite as much pin as I want. Try and get it in focus, there we go. But not too bad. I'll move this one a bit further along. That's a bit better. You can start seeing that on the other side. I did have that copper backer in there. Maybe this first one. Yeah, not too bad. Pretty happy with that. So this is it now, just a bit of a hit with the grinder, just to smoothen off the surface a little bit. For anyone that's wondering, I basically cleaned the surfaces internally with the wire wheel. I then put a bit of rust converter over it. And then that green stuff you can see, that's Duralac to go between the two metals, just to help prevent any further corrosion down the track. I've just gone and got the file out and just blended a couple of those edges in. And it's never going to be 100% perfect. It's pretty good though, I think. Like the alignment on most of them was pretty good. This one down the far right, that's probably the worst. But sort of, yeah, just hit that with the file a bit, try and make that a bit of a smoother transition. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm yet to fully decide whether I want to fish plate over the top of it or not. Sort of on the fence about it, whether it's going to be, obviously it's a fair bit of effort to do that and fair bit of complexity, whether it's really required. Like that's pretty solid now, what's in there. I don't see that having any issues, considering that there's stuff like this from factory. Like the stresses that the chassis sees, like, oh, I think that will be okay, but yet to fully decide that. But anyway, that's the end of that chapter.